Well, I mean, that's it. It's an audio drama. Like all you have is your voice, and the audience is probably looking at the car ahead of them or in their kitchen cooking. You don't have, I mean, even in a cartoon, you have the animators who make incredible animation, um, and they have there's a person who is a surrogate for your voice that they can actually watch. But this, when it comes to performance, it all has to be in your voice. There's nothing that we can communicate with our faces or like a cartoon face. So that was definitely the challenge. But I have a little bit of experience with this. I produce a Dungeons and Dragons podcast that my friends they created. It's called Hero Club, and yes, that is a plug for Hero Club. But what they do is they basically cut out all the crosstalk of D&D, and they just kind of present it as a radio play. So I don't know. I spent years doing that with them, and I think that if anything, that prepared me the most for this project. But also Titus Welliver is an incredible director, so we were in good hands.
What drew you to the role of Brian? Like, what was your favorite part about playing him?
I like that he's kind of torn between two worlds. Obviously, he has that family history with his dad being a thief. I like that he's trying to, make a new life for himself. I don't know, the best characters are ones with a real conflict like that, where they're being pulled in two different directions. So, I mean, the character was really compelling to me, but also the story. I just thought I couldn't put it down. I just kept flipping through it. And that's just a credit to Michael's writing. So I just felt like I had to be part of it.
When you lend your role to a voice, or like,
Yeah.
when you do a voice role, does it make you want to do that in live action someday?
Do the voice role in live action?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have a weird history with that. I did an episode of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds where I got to bring Brad Boimler from Lower Decks to live action, and that was so fun. Like, I don't think I've ever had more fun than doing that. So yeah, I mean, like if it's ever a possibility, I would love to. And I think this is a story that could work. The Safe Man's a story that could work just as well in live action. I'd love to see it.
Was this a production that you recorded all your parts separately, or were you able to have a little bit of back and forth with either Titus or some of the other actors?
We were all in the same studio, sometimes in different rooms, but always reacting off of each other, which is a real rarity these days. Like typically when I do voiceover, I think it's just I don't know. COVID made things a little complicated. Also, everyone has various schedules and they try to get people when they can. But with this one, I was really impressed with the team. They tried to get everybody in there to kind of bounce off of each other, and it was just so much fun. And Titus is an incredible director, but also an incredible scene partner. And no, I got a little too used to it. I want that back. I want to do that more often because it kind of felt like Orson Welles and like the Mercury Theater. Like it's such a radio plays are such a cool thing, and I'm glad that the audio drama has kind of brought that back.
You can imagine the faces you guys are making.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of faces.
So how do they direct you? Is it like a table read when it comes to this?
Yeah, it's essentially a table read where, like a scene with Titus, for example, like we'll just be they set up two microphones in a room, and we're reading off of each other. We have the script in front of us, but it's nice to understand what the actor is bringing to their role, so you can naturally react off of that. The best thing they did with this was for the more action bits, like there's a whole heist at one point. That's just they put a lav mic on me, and I just ran through the hallway. Like I just like they did like the hallway of the studio several times throughout the story. It's just me running through the hallways of the studio screaming, and it kind of captures that. Obviously it's not a soundproof booth with incredible audio, but the story lends itself to there's always a camera recording in our story, right? So it was really cool to I don't know. It was really nice as an actor to get that energy of like hastily running because it's so weird to replicate that when you're just standing still. And no, it was really I really love how they approached the recording process. It's really awesome.
How different is that recording experience when your director also has experience from the camera? Is there a different language that's going between the two?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, Titus he's such an incredible actor, and he is a real actor's director as well. Like there's a I don't know. You kind of just there's a second-hand nature to it where you already kind of speak the same language, and I always love that. And we became really good friends. Like we still hang out. Like I genuinely love Titus so much. He's so great.
Do you appreciate the difference in physicality between something like this and then live action shows that you've done before? Because you don't have to be covered in fake blood.
Oh, it's so great. I brought it myself. No, it's so nice to, voice acting and live action work are so different, but the biggest benefit for me of voice acting is just showing up, and I can wear whatever I want and not have to go through hair and makeup, and I can just be in my PJs, and that's fine. I've never actually done that though, and I want to now. I want to actually show up in pajamas, a thing I don't have. Just like old-fashioned pajamas. I gotta buy some, and I gotta show up in a booth. But no, it is really. But I often find that when I'm doing voice work, I am very physical. Even though no one's gonna see it, I am like. It really helps to move your arms. I almost never sit down. I'm usually just like trying to jump around one part of the room essentially. Like I can't move too much because the mic won't pick me up, but it is nice to keep the energy up and get physical with it.
I was wondering how that huffing and puffing.
There's a lot of huffing and puffing, and that was great that they just let me kind of run around the studio. I felt bad for anyone else working there because it was just Jack Quaid running through the halls and screaming. That's what they had to deal with. Yeah.
One more question. You kind of have your hands in so many different things, and you're constantly working. What really makes you want to do a project when it comes across?
I think if the story is something that I would be interested in as a fan, that makes me want to do it. Like when it comes to, like, let's say The Boys. I remember reading that first script, the first episode, and being like, man, I would watch the hell out of the show. I really want to make sure I book this. I really want to audition well. But if I can't be Huey, I would love to be an extra. Like if I have that feeling about a project, then I know that I have to do it. And that just speaks to Michael's writing and how it was such a page turner. And I was like, I can't not be a part of this. Like this is amazing. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.